DEI trainers panic as entire town completely bans DEI. From ABC 15 Arizona, Queen Creek Council unanimously approves policy to ban DEI practices. Queen Creek is a town in Arizona, and they've taken it upon themselves to create an ordinance that will require their council and then future councils to not support DEI, to not provide any funding for any DEI trainings, hiring, or anything else related to DEI through the town. But in a nearby town in Arizona, from the Goldwater Institute, one Arizona town is the progressive pioneer of controlling online speech. This other town, Gilbert in Arizona, they've created an Office of Digital Government, ODG. They monitor the online speech of employees and elected officials, ensuring conformity with progressive ideologies, including support for movements like Black Lives Matter and LGBT causes. And they don't just monitor work-related correspondence and work-related statements. They monitor people's private social media as well. That's why you need towns like Queen Creek in Arizona stepping up and saying, no, we're going to do completely the opposite. We're going to ban this kind of nonsense completely. From the Goldwater Institute, diversity, equity, and inclusion is dominating our government, universities, and businesses. But one town in Arizona has taken a stand. Queen Creek, Arizona became the first municipality in the state to ban the town government from implementing the discriminatory ideology. Queen Creek City Council unanimously passed a new ordinance that ensures taxpayer dollars will not be spent on policies that further race and sex-based discrimination. Queen Creek's move comes as the Goldwater Institute continues to spearhead the nationwide campaign to challenge taxpayer-funded discrimination. Quote, in Queen Creek, we want to focus on things that unite us like individual success and achievement, not things that divide us like political ideology, according to Queen Creek Councilman Travis Padilla, who said this at a council meeting, noting that the ordinance allows the town to focus on equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. DEI initiatives are supposed to promote fair treatment and full participation for everyone. In reality, the ideology teaches that there are two categories of people, oppressor and oppressed, and that public institutions must atone for systemic racism by treating people differently depending on their skin color. But under Resolution 161124, the town is required to hire based on merit rather than affirmative action. The town will not require nor support any affirmative action policies or practices according to the ordinance. Finally, the ordinance explains that the town will not compel an applicant or employee to endorse any statement that provides preferential treatment to or discriminating against any individual as a condition of hire, promotion, or transfer. So no diversity training, no outside diversity trainers, and no diversity statements. This resolution comes just months after the Goldwater Institute exposed neighboring Gilbert for mandating DEI trainings for all new employees while weaponizing the power of the government to spy on the online speech of town employees and elected officials. These practices cost taxpayers in Gilbert over $1 million just in salaries for the Office of Digital Government employees and went unnoticed by many in the community, including members of the town council. Queen Creek stands in stark contrast to the localities like Gilbert, who have fully embraced divisive and dangerous ideologies on the taxpayer's dime. Prohibiting the government from requiring mandatory diversity statements like the Queen Creek policy does has been a hallmark of Goldwater's work to dismantle DEI across the country. These diversity statements are used as a political litmus test for ideological alignment, screening out candidates who do not adhere to specific progressive ideologies. This is a huge win for the residents of Queen Creek, who can now be confident that their elected officials and town staff are focusing on actual town business, not obsessing about identity politics like so many of their neighboring communities have done for far too long. And also from Goldwater Institute, one Arizona town is the progressive pioneer of controlling online speech. And what Gilbert is doing is not just invading people's privacies and trying to force them to follow diversity goals, but it's creating a dangerous situation in the town. They're not dealing with issues of crime because it doesn't fit their ideology. Big Brother is alive and well in one Arizona town where an entire department of city employees is paid to monitor the online speech of employees and elected officials, as well as control all government communications online to enforce conformity with a progressive political agenda. Though it may sound like a fictional invention of Orwellian fashion, there's a real place in Arizona where that occurs. It's an arrangement unlike any other in the state, and by all indicators, the first of its kind in the country. It's the Office of Digital Government, ODG, in the town of Gilbert. At the helm is Dana Birchman. That's this lady. Chief Digital Officer. For over a decade, Birchman has overseen an average of 10 to 12 employees who ensure that the 30 official government accounts, along with personal online postings of government-affiliated individuals, fall in line with a liberal policy outlook, Black Lives Matter, LGBT ideologies, and things like that. For their work, ODG employees are amply compensated. Their annual salaries range from over $82,000 to $138,000. Only 2 of the employees make slightly under that range, earning well over $60,000. Benchman receives the highest salary so far, over $200,000 a year. There were also 2 employees that left ODG within the 2023 fiscal year. Their salaries amounted to about $188,000. Including all those positions, all ODG salaries amount to over $1.1 million. ODG, her office, contacts various departmental leadership about employees' online speech if it runs counter to progressive ideals or appears to be critical of their department. Leadership is then expected to confront employees about their speech. Over the last few years of marked social political upheaval due to George Floyd's death, the 2020 election, and the COVID-19 pandemic, ODG permitted public displays of support for issues like Black Lives Matter, vaccines, and mask wearing, but sought out discipline for those whose speech was or appeared to be the least bit critical of those stances. Or, of course, if you're criticizing their office, ODG. Following George Floyd's death, ODG led a unified response across all Gilbert departments to show solidarity with Black Lives Matter. Blackout posts, a video statement from the mayor, and pictures of first responders bending the knee to BLM protesters. One former employee that they spoke with on the condition of anonymity said that they left their job in part due to ODG's control over other departments. Quote, when I worked there, they were pushing the chiefs of police and fire to be more liberal. Then there's those emails about how excited they were about getting the chief to kneel to BLM, said the former employee. The employee went on to say that anything a department wanted to put on social media had to receive ODG's complete approval. Quote, it was difficult to get anything accomplished, said the former employee. Everything was so tightly managed. People on the ground there were upset because they couldn't do anything. That could explain the delay in communications on the arguably biggest development to hit Gilbert in decades, one that has now made national headlines, the Gilbert Goons. Independent investigative efforts by reporters indicated that similar teen-involved assaults in the East Valley go back as early as December 2022. Gilbert police initially claimed they'd only discovered a pattern and the term Gilbert Goons last month, but later noted that victims referred to their assailants' association with the violent group. And from someone inside Gilbert who knows what's been going on, here's some more details about the Gilbert Goons that the town isn't following up on. August 2023, an assault occurs at an In-N-Out, allegedly at the hands of Gilbert Goons, a gang of youths. It's caught on video, but Gilbert PD does not investigate. October 31st, 2023, Gilbert Goons allegedly beat Preston Lord to death in Queen Creek. Police have no suspects, even though many people are talking about knowing who did it. The Gilbert Goons. Rumors of children of police are involved. Still no arrests to this day, no suspects. December 22, 2023, Gilbert PD finally asked the public for help identifying attackers that were caught on camera in the August assault. This only after angry parents stormed town meetings asking why their children are being beaten and killed with zero investigations. October 2023, Gilbert Police Chief Michael Solberg is not investigating any of this. He's instead spending time raising the prices of public records for you and me, making it even more difficult to investigate the Preston Lord death on our own. So even as local residents try to investigate what's going on their own, the police chief is raising the cost of acquiring those public records, making it more difficult to investigate. And this is what you get with DEI and woke policies. Anything that doesn't fit their narrative disappears. Other issues have sparked more immediate attention from Gilbert leadership. Public records revealed that departmental leadership would entertain ODG's complaints about certain employees' online speech to which they objected, such as a show of support for first responders. In an August 2020 email obtained through public records, Birchman notified Gilbert Fire Department leadership that one of their 5 trucks drove by and turned on sirens to support Back the Blue protesters. The implication was that GFD leadership would instruct its employees to not engage in similar behavior in the future as they have regarding the displays of the thin blue line flag symbolizing support for police. Gilbert Fire and Police leadership instructed personnel to not fly those flags due to their controversial message related to George Floyd's death and the BLM riots. Several days after Birchman's complaint, Police Chief Michael Solberg and then Fire Chief Jim Jobush issued a joint email and video to their employees directing them to not choose sides publicly concerning Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter protests. Quote, given the intensity of the debate and strong personal feelings some have about these gatherings, we thought it would be prudent to put out a consistent message to the members of both our departments. Read a joint email notifying personnel of the video. Quote, we need to be aware not to choose sides and not to leave the perception that we're choosing sides during large gatherings, said Jobush in the video. Records also reveal that ODG would spend business hours documenting the nitty-gritty of Gilbert employees' social media activity, even down to when they liked posts critical of ODG. In another 2020 incident, ODG issued a post to the town's Twitter account celebrating itself for winning an award. In an internal messaging group between team members, ODG discussed one employee who liked another local's comment criticizing ODG as a bloated team of Insta posters funded by taxpayers. Quote, yeah, this individual's had a few bad tweets and likes in the past 24 hours, one ODG employee wrote in a group message. The same day of the January 6th breach at the Capitol, Birchman sent an internal group message tasking her employees with hunting down and tracking the personal social media posts of one town employee critical of them. In that same conversation, Birchman alluded that she maintained a dossier of other town employees' social media posts. Quote, do you have a folder or compilation of all this employee's tweets or posts? Asked Birchman. I just looked at my social media files and I have most of these posts an ODG member sent. It makes me sick to look at these posts, especially today. Yet Birchman's personal social media often delves into the political. Her posts over the years openly declared her support of Democratic candidates and progressive issues such as abortion, gun control, and same-sex marriage. Quote, a bunch of old white guys not interested, wrote Birchman in response to former President Trump's potential cabinet selections. Quote, today I feel hope, joy, and relief to those who thought it couldn't be that bad. It was worse than I ever imagined, said Birchman on President Joe Biden's Inauguration Day. Watching the past 4 years, and particularly the last one, and explaining to my children the things they've seen and heard, never again. Birchman was also behind the new town logo that sowed controversy last year, which left many dissatisfied with the end product of a 2-year process. Both Mayor Bridget Peterson and Council noted they kept out of the process for developing the logo, with Peterson receiving resistance from the town manager, Patrick Banger, a common pattern for ODG. Public records reveal that those town employees who criticized the logo were the subject of ODG documentation and internal messaging. ODG didn't exist until 2012, when Banger came up with the idea for the department, the first of its kind in the nation. Banger credited former Democratic New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg and his media empire for coming up with the idea. In a recent interview, Birchman alluded to her limiting input to those who agree with her perspective, calling those who have grievances, quote, pitchfork people that didn't qualify as the average Gilbert resident. Quote, let other people come in, invite them in, and let them tell you what they think about what you're doing, said Birchman. Quote, not people that show up at council meetings or I say the pitchfork people that have a grievance, but the average person who's busy living their lives. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.